It's feeling like deja vu. Back December of 2024, all-time highs. We ended the day with all of the indices in the green. The heat map was looking good. Microsoft and Nvidia closed at all-time highs, and Meta was also hovering near an all-time high. So Microsoft, which has a market cap of 3.5 trillion, ended the day at 497.45. In the after hours, it's at 497. Nvidia, which is currently valued at about 3.77 trillion, thanks to that strong AI demand, ended the day at 155.09. In the after hours, it's 155.34. And another Mag 7 stock that I hold, Meta, pushed up today to $728.02, ended the day at 726.09. So the stock market is making big moves. The S&P, which we're looking at right here, as well as the NASDAQ, briefly touched record highs. We're going to be taking a look at Amazon and Nvidia, which are all over the headlines with predictions of them hitting $10 trillion and $6 trillion valuations. We're going to take a look at what does this mean for you? What can you actually learn from all of this? So the market is moving thanks to strong performers from tech and financial sectors. Stocks like Amazon, Goldman Sachs, and JP Morgan Chase. These sectors were hit hard earlier this year due to those tariffs from the Trump administration. But investors have calmed down, and these same stocks are now rebounding to all-time highs. JP Morgan, for example, crossed 800 billion in market cap for the first time ever. So here's a look at Chase stock, up 1.62%, ended the day at 288.75. But that 800 billion-dollar valuation brings it up to number 10 in the largest companies in the US, behind Berkshire Hathaway, Tesla, Broadcom, Meta, Google, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, and of course, that number one spot is currently held by Nvidia. So I'm glad I continue to invest through these rough months that we've been having, focusing on good, strong companies. You'll be okay. The market often recovers strong after these dips, and your patience will pay off. Now, I'm just sharing my journey of how I've been focusing on retirement, building portfolios for early retirement and passive income, as well as for my daughter. So back to what's going on. We're seeing headlines like these. Trump considers naming next Fed chair early in bid to undermine Powell. So Trump is considering announcing a new pick for the Fed chair early, even though Jerome Powell's term doesn't end until May. News like this weakens the US dollar. Why does this matter? Because uncertainty around interest rates and leadership when it comes to the Fed makes the markets a little nervous. But this also opens up the door to potential rate cuts. Some Trump appointed Fed members are pushing for cuts as early as July. So, of course, this type of news, along with so many other headlines, rocks the market and shakes things up. But we have to be consistent as investors and look past the noise and focus on our long term plan. Now, let's take a look at Amazon. I'm seeing headlines that they could be a $10 trillion stock in the future. Why? Because Amazon dominates when it comes to cloud computing, and now they are expanding into AI, advertising, and logistics. Their AWS cloud division alone could be worth several trillion dollars in the next decade. A $10 trillion evaluation would mean a 5x growth from today's prices. So, this is one that I hold in my portfolio, and I'm glad that I do, because buying these great companies and holding over time is where real wealth can be built. So Amazon ended the day at 217.12. It's down from its year high of 242.52, but I'll be holding on to this long term. Like everything in my portfolio, I am a long term investor. I would love to see this grow to that $10 trillion valuation from its current market cap of 2.3 trillion. Taking a look back to those top US companies by market cap, Amazon is coming in at number 4. Now let's take a look at Nvidia, currently holding the number 1 spot. This has been trading or switching between Microsoft and Apple from time to time. As the time that I'm recording, Amazon stock price is 155.09, but it hit 156.72 earlier today. So the headlines is, could this be a $6 trillion stock? Nvidia has reclaimed that number one spot for the moment, and experts are wondering where it's headed in the near future. They're making chips that are powering everything from AI to gaming, electric vehicles, and servers. There is a huge potential when it comes to this company. And with this growth comes some volatility. Year to date, it's up 15.49%. Over the last year, up 22.7%. And over the last 5 years, up nearly 1,600%. But back to looking at it on a shorter time frame of 1 year. Many investors miss out because they jump in during the highs and panic during the pullbacks. If you believe in a company's long-term vision, stay invested. Dollar cost average, build up your position when it is beaten down, and hold on through the ups and downs. The key to long-term investing is not always timing the bottom of the market. No one can always predict that perfectly. So we talked about some big names today, Microsoft, Nvidia, and JP Morgan Chase. But remember, we don't always have to chase those individual stocks. You can benefit from their growth by investing into an ETF. And we're going to take a look at a few. You can stick with something basic like a VOO, the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF that gives you exposure to all of the top 500 companies in the US, weighted by market cap. So your highest exposure is going to be into those companies like Microsoft, Nvidia, Apple, Amazon, Meta, Broadcom, Tesla, for example. Or you consider QQQ, Invesco's exchange traded fund, designed to correspond to the market and yield performance of the NASDAQ 100. So more concentrated than those top 500 companies, but you're getting exposure to top holdings like Microsoft, Nvidia, Apple, Amazon, Broadcom, Meta, Netflix, Tesla, and Costco. But when it comes to this one, QQQM might be the better choice for a regular investor. This is a passively managed ETF that tracks that index of the 100 NASDAQ. So its expense ratio is 0.015 versus the 0.20 that QQQ has. Slightly cheaper and has nearly an identical performance to QQQ. So do your research, but QQQM could be better suited for long-term investors in order to minimize those costs. With the same exposures, those top 10 holdings that are most heavily weighted. So remember, you don't have to always be worried about, can I pick the winner? You can invest into the whole team. So yes, the market is hitting all-time highs again, but it's not scaring me off when I see the future of companies like Amazon and Nvidia growing by trillions of dollars. As they have their dips along the way, I will continue to invest, sticking to my plan and realizing the power of having my money invested long term. Everyone has a different starting point in investing. And when it comes to those two names that we took a look at today that are expected to grow significantly, Amazon and Nvidia, in my growth portfolio, I'm currently up 56.89% when it comes to Amazon and 50.44% when it comes to Nvidia. So if you're not already, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and check out my referral links. They will be in the description and pinned in the comments. And another way that you can support the channel is by joining channel membership. Thanks for watching. Okay, bye.